Issuing smart credentials with IDaaS using PKI as a service. IDaaS can use smart credentials, identities based on certificates, for a strong second factor identity. These identities can be delivered to a smart credential app on the user's phone and enable passwordless login. In this demonstration, the IDaaS and PKI as a service setup will be defined. Then a user will be enrolled and register their smart credential using Entrust Smart Credential app. Start by defining the certificate authority that will issue the smart credentials. From the hamburger menu, select Resources, Certificate Authority. Click on the plus to define a certificate authority. The options are presented for the type of certificate authority. In our case, we will select the Entrust PKI as a Service CA. With the PKI as a Service option, you do not need to have a PKI already enabled. This process will create a cloud instance of the Entrust PKI for issuing these smart credentials. In the name, give it a meaningful name. Notice the issuing CADN will reflect the name you choose. You can keep the recommended DN or change it. The DN provides an identity for the two certificate authorities that will be created, a root and an issuing CA. As you can see, the settings are well documented to explain what the sections mean. The PIV content signer settings will be updated after we save this configuration and the PIV content signer account is created. The digital ID configuration will define the digital IDs that can be used. As you can see, there are already 2 added, and those are sufficient for issuing our smart credentials. Click Save to save the configuration and have the PKIs generated in the cloud. Once ready, you will receive a notification. Notice the CA status. It warns that there is a missing configuration, so let's fix that. The 3 options on the right of the CA. The first will allow you to download the trust chain from the certificate authority. This is required to trust the certificates issued by our certificate authority. The next option allows us to test the connection. Clicking on it will reveal we need to create a PIV content signer. Using the final option of the actions, we can create the PIV content signer. The details will be taken from the CA we created. Click Create. And now notice the status of the PKI is a green check. We now need to define the smart credentials we will be offering. From the hamburger menu, select Resource, Smart Credential Definitions. We see there is already a PIV definition. We just need to complete the configuration, so click the PIV option shown. As you can see, most of the configuration is already set up, but we need to identify the digital IDs that can be used for the card and the card holder. In the Digital ID Settings section, click the arrow to select the PIV card definitions we set up from the CA. And as well, from the Card Digital ID drop-down, select the PIV card holder we created from the SCCA. Finally, we have to identify the CA that will be signing the PIV content, which is the CA we just set up. Now, with the CA and the digital ID set up, we can save the smart credential definition. With the CA defined and the smart credentials that will be offered defined, we can now offer smart credentials to users. Returning to the Settings registration area, we can now set up the Smart Credential Issuance options as part of the registration process. Notice the Smart Credentials definition we will be issuing is the PIV one we just set up. We can also activate the Smart Credential auto-enrollment. Scrolling down, we can add Smart Credentials to the available authenticators for the users, and they can activate their Smart Credentials using the user portal. Let's see how this can be done now. Viewing my profile, Authenticators, click the plus to see the Smart Credential option is now available. Click the Smart Credential to assign one to me, Alice Admin. Because I am Alice Admin, I can immediately activate my account with the QR code using the Smart Credential app on the phone. The app is available through the App Store on my phone, and it is called the Entrust Smart Credential. Now I've downloaded the app, it is ready, and I can add the identity using the QR code. So let's open up the app. I may have other identities on this phone, but I can always add new ones by scanning a QR code and giving it a name. Click on the three dots and select the QR code reader. We line up the QR code and it will scan the details. Once the code is snapped, the password that is presented in IDaaS with the code must be entered. Alice can be asked to name this identity, but it will be given a default that can be changed. Alice will be asked to confirm the activation of this identity. The encoding begins and you are presented with a progress screen. Once finished, the success screen will display. As per policy, Alice must create a 6-digit PIN for this identity. Now that the activation is complete, we can test the login with the Smart Credential push. Also notice now the Smart Credential is active in Alice's account. Alice admin will log in, and as she identifies herself, we look at the alternative authenticators. Notice now there is a Smart Credential push option for login, so let's select that option. On my phone, there will be a new challenge notification, and the PIN is required. The authentication challenge is shown, indicating the transaction details and the options to confirm, cancel, or raise a concern. Select Confirm. We are now logged into IDaaS. The app approves the connection and the details are shown. That is how Alice admin can now use passwordless login with IDaaS using a Smart Credential issued by PKI as a service. Please see our library of training content or sign up for a class online. For more immediate assistance, contact our world-class support team any time of the day, no matter where you are.